I was flying from Punta Cana to Miami last week from my vacation time. Once I got to the airport, I went to the Frontier Airlines check-in desk. I presented all my documentation, passport, visa, COVID test, vaccines, e-ticket, all the forms, and everything. They gave me my boarding pass. My boarding pass was saying documents okay. And they went to the boarding gate. Once I get to the boarding gate, I passed another control for my documentation, and then I entered into the plane. Once I was on the plane, sit down on my seat, it passed like 30 minutes and nobody saying anything, and the plane was not taking off. So after waiting and waiting, somebody came to the plane and asked me kindly to leave the plane. And I said, why? Because your reservation is blocked. Why my reservation is blocked? How is possible? All my documents were perfectly okay. Your reservation is blocked, ma'am. No explanation, you have to leave the plane. Take your things and please come with me. It was really a shame. In front of everybody, as a criminal, I was removed from the plane. Once I got to the desk again with the supervisor, she told me that Frontier Airlines has a problem with the reservation process in the mobile application. That's why my reservation was blocked. My passport and all the documents were perfectly okay, but it was not matching for some reason with the passport number. So I said, okay, you are going to pay me for a new ticket or just transfer my reservation to the next flight. It was no flight on the day. It was not a flight another day. So I had to wait for 2 days to come back home. On top of that, I had to pay for the second ticket if I wanted to go home, if I wanted to return to Miami and go home. They didn't transfer my booking to another day because they said my booking was blocked by Frontier with no explanation. I bought a new ticket. It cost me double than the first one. I was filing a claim and they reimbursed me part of the first ticket, which was $80, and the second ticket cost me $160. So I'm claiming for the part of the ticket that I shouldn't have to pay because it was a Frontier Airlines mistake. So please help me to recover the money that I never had to buy again. On top of that, I had to spend 2 nights on a hotel accommodation because it was not flight before, and I had to pay for another taxi, and I had to pay $22 for another COVID test negative because the first one was expired. The most frustrating situation was when I was asked to remove the plane in front of all the passengers. Everybody was really impatient, waiting for the plane to take off. And when the crew came and asked me, Mom, you have to leave the plane, I was really embarrassed. I'm a regular person, I'm a hardworking mom, and I really don't have any problem uh, with my booking. And the problem was a Frontier mistake, and the Frontier blocked on my reservation that it was not my fault and I did anything wrong. It was really a shame and it was really frustrating to leave the plane and then wait for 2 days for the next flight to go home. I contacted the company the first time at the airport, just right after leaving the plane. I was speaking with the crew and the supervisor, and they didn't give me any alternative. They just told me that I have to buy a new ticket. It was unbelievable for me. I was really in shock, saying, how is possible you removed me from the plane and now you are not going to help me to transfer my reservation to another day. They said, no, ma'am, your reservation is blocked by Frontier, and even that is Frontier mistake, you have to buy a new ticket. So I filed a claim on the website, and I just got a reimbursement from $80, which was the part of the ticket that I didn't fly. Even that the cost of the new ticket that they forced me to buy was double money. I paid another 160 plus the hotel, plus the taxi, plus the COVID test, plus all the expenses. I rate the company Frontier Airlines as a 1 star, even less. It was really unacceptable how they treat me, how they remove me from the plane. They should have been checking all the documents before. Even the documents were absolutely correct, all of them, and I have demonstrated and I have sent all the copy of all the documents. They didn't take responsibility of their mistake. So I would never ever fly again with Frontier, and I just rate it with 0 stars, and low cost in this case has been a nightmare. Well, my advice is that they never, never, ever should have been removed me from the plane because Frontier has a problem or a mistake on the application reservation. And once they did, they should have been moved to another flight and just relocate my booking in the next flight. Even that it was 2 days later, they should have been done that. They cannot leave a passenger in a destination that they don't have a place to stay and force them to pay for the accommodation myself and also to pay for a new ticket. They should have been covered all my expenses because it was a Frontier mistake. And they didn't take responsibility, and all the expenses that I incurred were paid by me. This is absolutely unacceptable. The right thing to do is to pay for all the expenses that I incurred because of this problem and this mistake, and to pay all the expenses, the hotel for 2 nights, the taxi that I had to take again to go to the airport, the second COVID test that I had to get as a negative test to jump in the next flight, and all the expenses. Of course, the main one is the second flight ticket that I had to pay, which I already paid the first one. So what I'm claiming is at least to pay me the second flight ticket. I can just forget about the accommodation and the taxi and the COVID test, but at least I'm claiming they paid me for the second ticket. And so far, I have not received any response about all my claims. That's why I'm recording this video. My recommendation is never ever fly with Frontier Airlines. If you have a chance to fly with American Airlines or any other first line airline, even that you have to pay a little more, is much better. You will never have this ashamed situation, and obviously is more expensive, but in that case, low cost has been very expensive to me. So my recommendation is I will never ever fly again with Frontier Airlines, and I recommend you don't do it.